Bioware's fantasy role-playing series Dragon Age has been absent from the gaming space for a decade now, so that means there's probably some lore stuff that you've forgotten that'll prove to be very important for the Veilguard. If you don't know your Venatori from your Andraste, I'm here to help. For a deeper dive into the events of the series, check out our Dragon Age timeline video. Thedas is the continent in which the Dragon Age universe is set, and in our real world literally stands for the Dragon Age setting. In-game, the word Thedas originates from Tevene, the language of the oldest surviving human nation known as the Tevinter Imperium, an empire ruled exclusively by mages and the only location in Thedas where slavery is not banned. The Tevinter Imperium is also home to the largest city in Thedas, Minrathous, backdrop to the opening moments of Dragon Age the Veilguard. The word Thedas once referred to only the lands outside of the Imperium, but with time, it came to include the entire continent. While a healthy amount of information is known about Thedas, not much is known about the lands that lay beyond it. The Hunterhorn Mountains hinder travel to the west, the Donarch jungles do the same in the northwestern portion, and the frozen sunless lands beyond the Kokari and Arbor Wilds are a problem in the south. The north and east both have sizable oceans separating Thedas from whatever lies beyond. However, travel on the Boric Ocean seems feasible considering the Qunari, a race we'll talk about later on, originated somewhere north of it. There are myths about the land that lie beyond the Amaranthan Ocean that state that it is devoid of sentient life. Colonization of this area is said to have failed, and the leader of one of the early human tribes in Thedas sailed in that direction but was never seen again. So either he's dead, or all the rumors aren't true and that land is just a paradise where he's being fed grapes on a beach. Comment what you think happened to him. The continent of Thedas is divided into several key regions, 3 of which have already played a major role in the games that came before the Veilguard. First up is Ferelden, explorable in Dragon Age Origins and Inquisition. This area is located in the southeastern portion of Thedas and is known for its somewhat rebellious nature. The Free Marches are a collection of 11 independent city-states that include the setting of Dragon Age 2 Kirkwall. These 11 cities rarely unite, but if pushed too far by a neighboring nation, they can team up to whoop some ass. Third is Orlais, or the Orlesian Empire, the most powerful human nation on the continent that you can visit in Dragon Age Inquisition. So, now that we know where we are, let's take a look at the different races that live there. The most common race on Thedas are humans. However, despite being so abundant and conquering so much of the continent, not much is known about the origin of the humans. Both the elves and the dwarves claim that there was once a time where humans weren't around, and the humans have no record of their existence in any time before the making of the Veil, a magical barrier we'll speak about in the next section. The Chantry is the dominant faith system in most human nations, and it centers around the worship of a creator deity named the Maker. He is referred to as a male and the husband of the inspiration for the Chantry, Prophetess Andraste. The northern half is based in the Tevinter Imperium. They generally embrace magic and believe men to be the leaders. Meanwhile, the southern portion believes the opposite, looking to women for leadership and being way more cautious about magic. Before the humans led, the elves were the dominant race on Thedas. Known for their large eyes and pointed ears, the elves based their civilization around nature, the Fade, an important topic that we're coming to later in the video, and magic. Unfortunately though, their civilization, Arlathan, fell to the Tevinter Imperium, and the elves were forced into centuries of slavery, losing pieces of who they were in the process. They attempted to rise again, rebuilding in a region of the Orlais called the Dales, but when that failed, the elves split into 2 separate groups. The Dalish, nomadic elves that intend to keep the essence of elven life alive, and the City Elves, who have instead submitted to human culture, living amongst them as impoverished outcasts. The elves worship the elven gods, also known as the Evan Uris, rulers of the ancient elven empire. This group consisted of 5 gods, 4 goddesses, and were led by Elgarnon, the Allfather, and Mythal, the Protector. Alongside these 9 are whispers of another race of gods referred to as the Forgotten Ones. These 3 gods of evil were said to have fought endlessly against the Evanurus, and Femharal of the Evanurus was the only one that could walk freely between the 2 enemy clans. According to legend, both groups were eventually trapped in what is known as the Eternal City. The Darkspawn are tainted humanoid creatures, aka monsters, that live below the surface of Thedas in a network of tunnels that once belonged to the dwarves called the Deep Roads. When the Darkspawn uncover an old god, spirits with a handful of origins that typically take the form of a dragon, they expose it to the taint, which changes the god into an archdemon. The Archdemon then leads the Darkspawn to attack the surface world in an event called a Blight. So far, the only warriors that have been able to stop a Blight, 5 of them to be exact, are a group known as the Grey Wardens. The race commonly referred to as the Qunari are tall-horned giants from across the Beric Ocean. However, this is not actually correct, as the race has no official name, and the Qunari refers to those that follow the Qun, which can apply to any race. The Qun is a guiding philosophy law of the Qunari that assigns everyone a stringently defined role. It prizes communal well-being and fears magic and mages. However, there are some that choose not to follow the Qun, referred to as Tal Vashath, and instead leave to join other cultures across Thedas. The Qunari appear in Thedas several times in history as conquerors and currently occupy the northern island of Saharon as part of a long-standing war with the Tevinter Imperium. The dwarves are short, stocky people of Thedas who are highly magic resistant, can't be mages, and don't dream. Traditionalists live underground. Others make their fortune on the surface. While those on the surface may opt for adopting human beliefs, the traditionalists worship the stone. Dwarves refer to the stone as a she and believe they came from her. She protects them, and when they die, they will return to the stone. However, there are also titans that call the dwarves their children. Whether or not they are actually responsible for the existence of the dwarves is still unknown. Magic is a supernatural force in the Dragon Age universe that originates from the Fade, a mystical, dreamlike realm that is separated from the mortal world. This separation is made possible by the Veil, an invisible barrier that prevents spirits and demons from freely traveling between the Fade and the mortal world. The Veil was created by Femharal, aka the Dreadwolf, aka Solus, your companion in Dragon Age Inquisition, after he led a rebellion against the Evanurus as they became corrupt with power, enslaving their own people. Similar to other fantasy worlds throughout pop culture, magic in this universe is practiced by mages. The organization responsible for training mages across the continent is called the Circle of Magi. Mages that operate outside of the Circle are considered apostates. Within the Tevinter Imperium, the Circle is governed by high-ranking magisters. To the south, the Circle was governed by the Orlesian Chantry and supervised by the Templar Order. These Templars are Chantry Knights sworn to protect the world from the dangers of magic and watch out for signs of weakness and corruption within the mages of the Circle. In order to do this, Templars ingest lyrium, an extremely volatile crystallized form of magic, as a way to negate the magical effects of a mage's spellcasting. On the flip side, refined lyrium is also a great importance to mages, as it can increase the power of their spells. Blue lyrium is the normal one, dangerous if handled unrefined unless you're a dwarf, but still highly addictive and deadly even when refined. So addictive that it basically keeps the Templars tied to the Chantry. They can also eventually lose their memories and, if they're cut off, go mad or die. Lyrium becomes red and more dangerous when it has been affected by the Taint, a corruption spread by the Darkspawn. Alongside conventional magic is blood magic, a highly scrutinized school of magic that doesn't draw from the Fade. Instead, as the name suggests, blood magic makes use of blood to fuel powerful spells. Most nations have banned blood magic because it can be used to cloud or even control people's minds. The Venatori are mage supremacist cultists from Tevinter who use blood magic. They are officially condemned by their government, but influential behind the scenes. And that's all the top level info that you need to jump straight into the Dragon Age universe. As I said at the top, check out our timeline video for even more details, and let us know in the comments your favorite part of Dragon Age lore.